Namo Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajakacharya Ashtottara Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I hope all you are doing well. Today we'll be reading from Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 17, Ecstatic Love. So before we start today, we will pray first. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuru Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Narayanam Namaskritam Naranchaivo Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatam Jayamudira जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे. So let's begin. Please listen very carefully. Chapter 7, Ecstatic Love. If you have not listened our previous reading video, please check out from our playlist. Ecstatic Love. By the process of executing regulated devotional service, one is actually elevated to the transcendental stage beyond the material mode of nature. At that time, one's heart becomes illuminated like the sun. The sun is far above the planetary system. There is no philosophy of it being covered by any kind of cloud. Similarly, when a devotee is purified like the sun from the pure heart, there is a diffusion of ecstatic love which is more glorious than the sunshine. Only at that time is the attachment to Krishna perfect. Spontaneously, the devotee become eager to serve the Lord in his ecstatic love. At this stage, the devotee is on the platform of the Uttama Adhikari, the perfect devotion. Such a devotee has no agitation from the material affection and is interested only in the service of Radha and Krishna. To clarify, To clarify, in the previous chapter, the symptom of devotional service were explained along with the instruction as to how we may execute devotional service with our present senses and gradually rise to the platform of ecstasy in the spontaneous love. And two kind of devotional service, namely devotional service through regulative principle and through the spontaneous love, were discussed. Within the stage of regulative principle of devotional service, there are two divisions, namely executive and effective. This effective portion of devotional service is called bhava or ecstasy. In this connection, there are the statement in the Tantra that the is the kind of first symptom of pure love for the personality of Godhead. And in that stage, one is sometimes found shedding tear and shivering. Not always are these symptoms manifest, but occasionally. When King Ambarisha was put into difficulty by Durvasa, he began to think of the lotus feet of the Lord, and thus there were some changes in his body. There were some changes in his body, and tear was falling from his eye. There was a symptom or activity, and this symptom or activity of ecstasy. They are invisible in the shivering of the they are visible in the shivering of the kind of body and setting of tear. After the outward appearance of this ecstatic symptom, they stay within the kind of mind continuation of the ecstasy is called samadhi. This stage of appearance become the cause of the future exchange of loving affair with Krishna. Elevation to the stage of ecstasy can be possible in two ways. One way is by constant association with the pure devotee. Other way is by the special mercy of Krishna or by mercy of the pure devotee of Krishna. Elevation to the ecstatic love of life is generally attained through the association with the pure devotee, while elevation to the stage of the special mercy of Krishna or devotee is very rare. The The purport is that one should execute devotional service rigidly in the association of devotees, so that there will be certainly in raising oneself so that ecstatic position. In special case, of course, there is a special favor from Krishna, although we should always expect that we should not sit idly and simply can wait for Krishna's special mercy. The regular duty must be performed. It is not as when sometime it is found that a person who never attends school or college may be recognized as a great scholar, or as honorary degree from the great university may be offered to him. But this does not mean that one should avoid school and expect to automatically receive an honorary degree from the university. Similarly, one should devotedly execute the regulative principle of devotional service, at the same time hope for Krishna's favor or for his devotees' favor. An example of rising to the stage of ecstatic love by executing the regulative principle of devotional service is given in the life story of Narada, which is described to the Vyasdeva in Srimad Bhagavatam. Narada tell there of his previous life and how he developed to the stage of ecstatic love. He was engaged in the service of the great devotees and used to hear their talk and song. Because he had the opportunity to hear this pastime and the song of Krishna from the mouth of pure devotee, he became very attracted within his heart. Because he had become so eager to hear this topic, he gradually developed within himself the ecstatic love for Krishna. This ecstatic love is prior to the pure love of Krishna, because in the next verse, Narada confirmed that by the gradual process of hearing from the great and sages, he developed the love of Godhead. In that connection, Narada continued to say in the first canto, fifth chapter, verse 28 in Bhagavatam, first, I passed my day in the association of the great sages during at the rainy autumn season. Every morning and evening, I heard them while they were singing and chanting Hare Krishna mantra, and thus my heart gradually became purified. As soon as I heard them with a great attention, the influence of the mode of material ignorance and passion disappeared. I became firmly fixed in devotional service to the Lord. This practical example of how one can develop to the stage of ecstatic love simply by the association of pure devotee, it is essential, therefore, that one constantly associate with a pure devotee who engage morning and evening in the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. In this way, one will get the chance to purify his heart and develop this ecstatic pure love for Krishna. This statement is also confirmed in third canto, 23rd chapter, verse 25 of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Lord Kapila says, my dear mother, when a person is actually in association with a pure devotee, the sublime potency of the devotional service can be experienced. In other words, when a pure devotee speak, his word act upon the heart of the audience. When is the secret of hearing and the chanting. A professional speaker cannot impress transcendental ecstasy within the heart of the listener. However, when a realized soul who is engaged in the service of the Lord is speaking, he has the potency to inject spiritual life within the audience. One should therefore seek the association of pure devotee, unalloyed devotee. And by such association and service, near devotee will certainly develop attachment, love, and devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Padma Purana, there is a story of the Nepad devotee who, in order to raise herself in ecstatic platform, danced all night to invoke the Lord grace upon her. Sometime, however, it is found that without undergoing the devotional process, one all of sudden develop the devotion for Lord Krishna. This sudden development of devotional attitude in a person must be understood as a special mercy of Krishna or his devotee. This apparently accident development of ecstatic feeling through the causeless mercy of Krishna can be divided into the three groups: simply by speaking, simply by glancing, or simply by good wishes. In the Narada Purana, there is a statement about development of ecstatic love simply by speaking. Lord Krishna said to Narada, um, O best of the Brahmana, I wish that you may develop unalloyed devotional service to me. which is kind of full of transcendental bliss and all auspiciousness. In the Skanda Purana, there is a statement about the development ecstatic love toward Krishna simply by glancing. It is stated there when the inhabitant of the Jangala province saw the personality goddess Krishna, they were so stricken and were feeling that they could not withdraw their glance from him. As far as the heartfelt wishes are concerned, there is a kind of statement in the Sukha Samhita where the Narada tale Srila Vyasdeva, you have a son who is the greatest devotee of the personality Godhead. I can observe that without any following of the regulative principle of the devotional service, he is already enriched with the many of the spontaneous achieved by the execution of devotional service after many births. As for ecstatic love of Krishna, there is a statement in the 7th canto, 4th chapter, verse 36 of the Srimad Bhagavatam, in which Narada addressed King Yudhishthira. My dear king, it is very difficult to describe the character of the Prahlada. He developed a natural attraction for Krishna, and wherever I can explain about and whatever I can explain about his character will simply by the arrangement of the word. His actual character is impossible to describe. This means that Narada himself admitted that natural development of Prahlada's ecstatic love was by the grace of Lord Krishna. This natural attraction for Krishna on the part of the Prahlada was developed simply by the mercy of Narada. When the Prahlad Maharaja was within the womb of his mother, she was being spontaneously instructed by Narada about the science of devotional service. And at the same time, Narada was wishing that the child within the womb could also take advantage of the instruction, because Narada, an authorized devotee and the great associate of the personality Godhead, was desiring auspiciousness for Prahlad Maharaj. He developed all the characteristics of high grade devotee. He developed all the characteristics of a high grade devotee. This is called natural attraction. It is called by the special grace of the personality Godhead, or by the special grace of a great devotee like Narada. There is a statement like Skanda Purana where the Parvata Muni tell Narada, my dear Narada, of all saintly person, you are so great and glorious that simply by your good wishes, a lowborn hunter also has become a great elevated devotee of Lord Krishna. This ecstatic love for Krishna can be divided into the five divisions, which will be described by Srila Rupa Goswami later on. So Hare Krishna. So here we concluded the reading of Bhaktivedanta purport from Nectar of Devotion, chapter 17, Ecstatic Love. I hope all you understood. So let's go to the insight. Please listen till the end. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
All right, today we're jumping into a really beautiful concept from Vaishnava philosophy, ecstatic love. Now, I know, that sounds huge, maybe a little abstract, right? But the source material we're looking at gives us a surprisingly clear roadmap to what it is and how it happens. So let's get into it. So when I say that phrase, spiritual ecstasy, what pops into your head? Is it just some vague, floaty feeling, a lightning bolt from the heavens? It can be really hard to nail down. But according to these texts, it's not vague at all. It has very real, very tangible signs. And this is what's so fascinating. We're talking about things that happen to the body, you know? Involuntary reactions like tears or shivering. And then there's this incredible internal experience, a heart that feels like it's lit up like the sun. So this isn't just some philosophical idea. It's a full body and soul experience. Okay, so to really understand this, we need to get a bit more specific. What exactly is this state of being that can cause these kinds of powerful effects? The specific term for this is bhava, and it's described as the first symptom, kind of like the first sprout of pure love. It's got two key parts, that internal illumination we just talked about, which then leads to this totally spontaneous, overwhelming desire to serve. It's the starting point of something really profound. And that, of course, is a million-dollar question, isn't it? If this is a state we can actually reach, how in the world do you get there? Well, the source text lays out two very different paths, one that's pretty common and one that's, well, exceptionally rare.
Let's start with the first one, the most common path. And it's really important to see this one as a journey. It's not a shortcut, it's a path built on dedicated practice and, crucially, association.
So this path really boils down to two key things. First, the rigorous, dedicated practice of devotional service. And second, and this is just as important, doing it in the company of people who are already deeply devoted. The community you're in, the people you surround yourself with, they truly matter. And we get this perfect example in the story of the great sage Narada. I mean, listen to his own words here. It didn't happen overnight. It was about how he spent his days listening, absorbing, and just being in that atmosphere. You can really see the progression here, step by step. He served, he listened, and through that association, his heart was purified. And then, as a result of all that, he developed this ecstatic love. It's a very clear cause and effect kind of path.
Okay, so that was the journey. Now let's talk about path 2. And this one is completely different. It's not about a gradual process. It's about receiving a sudden, totally unexpected gift.
And when you put them side by side, the contrast is just wow. Path 1 is gradual, methodical, built up over time through practice. Path 2 is sudden. It can almost seem accidental. It's not something you earn right then and there. It's something that's just given to you, bestowed by grace.
But here's the thing. Accidental doesn't mean it's totally random. The source is actually very specific. It tells us that this special mercy, this incredible gift, is delivered through 3 very distinct channels.
And just look at these channels. They're amazing, right? This mercy can be given simply through words, or with just a look, or even through the silent, heartfelt good wishes of a great soul. These aren't huge, dramatic events. They're subtle, but incredibly powerful ways that this transformation can happen. So, what does it look like when mercy is given by speaking? Well, the text points to this unbelievable moment where Lord Krishna says this directly to Narada. It's not a command, it's a blessing, a wish that itself makes it happen. The other examples are just as mind-blowing. You have the people of a province called Jangala, who developed this love just by seeing Krishna. And then there's the story of Prahlada, who received this gift from Narada's good wishes while he was still inside his mother's womb. I mean, just think about that. So now we have these two paths sitting side by side. One is all about diligent effort, and the other is about sudden, unearned grace. So what do we do with that? How do we make sense of these two seemingly opposite ideas?
And this is the totally logical question, right? If there's even a tiny chance you can get this as a gift, why go through all the hard work of the first path? Why not just sit back and wait to get lucky?
And this is where the text gives us this brilliant analogy to clear it all up, something that makes perfect sense in our modern world.
Seriously, think about it. Nobody drops out of college hoping that one day, out of the blue, a university will just hand them an honorary doctorate. It just doesn't work that way. You go to class, you study, you do the work. That honorary degree is a rare, special recognition. It's not the main way to get an education.
And the source couldn't be clearer on this point. The existence of grace doesn't give you a pass on practice. Those regular duties, all the work of path 1, that's not optional. It must be performed.
So here's the real takeaway. The two paths aren't at odds with each other. The idea is to walk the path of dedicated practice with everything you've got, while at the same time keeping your heart open and hopeful for that rare, beautiful possibility of a moment of pure grace. One is the work you do, and the other is the wonder you hope for. And that kind of leaves us with a great question to reflect on in our own lives, spiritual or not. When you look back at the big changes, the real transformations, what was the cause? Was it the long, steady road of consistent effort and practice, or was it one of those sudden, unexpected moments of insight or luck or grace? It's a powerful thing to think about.